All right, what's going on? A to Z Sports. It's Sam Phelan here with your Titans update for you for Titans at 2, giving you a little bit of a look inside what the Titans defense might look like this weekend as the Cincinnati Bengals come to town. Brian Callahan revenge game, a Colt Anderson revenge game, a Tyler Boyd revenge game. I don't know. But the point is, there's a lot of familiarity between this Titans core and the existing team with the Cincinnati Bengals. There's also T. Higgins, a commonly discussed Titans, free agent target potentially who could be on the market this next offseason. So a lot of different storylines to watch. And maybe one of the ones that are going to hide and sneak under the radar are Titans rookies finally getting a shot to show what they can do. I'll give you the full update on that. But before we get into all of it this afternoon, going to tell all of you about my friends over at Lipscomb University and remind you to go check out the Lipscomb Sport Analytics Department and Sport Analytics Program. This is where data meets the game, where you can analyze, strategize, and revolutionize by turning your passion into profession and going beyond the box score. Get game-changing insights and career-defining skills by getting into the action at Lipscomb's Sport Analytics Program. You will learn to make the calls that count with this program that's turning sports fans into data-driven decision makers in the exciting world of professional athletics. I'm a Lipscomb alumni myself. I attended Lipscomb. I had a passion for sports media, and here I am with all of you turning my passion into profession. Thank you to Lipscomb and their faculty, the connections that they have in the Nashville area, just a great small school feel that has resources at its disposal to really set their students up for success. At Lipscomb, they're not just watching the game, they're changing how it's played through innovative sport analytics and their sport analytics program. Go check that out if you're in the Nashville area and it sounds interesting to you. While I tell you all about something that's very interesting to me, and I'm looking at defense, I'm looking at the inside linebacker position for the Titans. This is a group that has been through a roller coaster in 2024. The amount of turnover we've seen at inside linebacker is kind of hard to believe. I took a note down. Let me pull up my note real quick of all the players that the Titans have had at inside linebacker this year that they have lost due to trade, injury, or other circumstances. We start at training camp where the Titans kind of have this battle going on for who's going to earn those jobs and those spots. Garrett Wallow, season-ending injury. The Titans lose him. JoJo Domann, season-ending injury, waived with an injury designation. It looks like Jack Gibbens and Kenneth Murray are really stepping up to be the Titans starters at inside linebacker, with Jamal Adams acquired to be this sort of box safety that plays linebacker in certain packages. Well, Chance Campbell makes a late run in training camp in the preseason, playing the best football of his career, looking really impressive. People start turning their heads, wondering, should Chance Campbell maybe be a starter for the Titans? And that question answered itself because in the final preseason game towards the end of training camp, Chance Campbell tears his ACL. He's done for the year. Okay, so it's going to be Gibbons and Kenneth Murray as the team starters, but not so fast. Tennessee makes a trade acquiring Ernest Jones IV from the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for draft capital. They get a skilled playmaker at linebacker. They get a guy who can rush the passer, who's very quick, very versatile, complements Kenneth Murray. Not great, but, well enough within their athletic builds in order to make plays and get things done. And there you go. It's not just the playmaker, but it's also depth for the Titans at a position of need, given all the injuries that they had just had happen to them. In the meantime, Cedric Gray was placed on IR, the rookie that the Titans drafted out of North Carolina. He had a shoulder injury, was missing time. Nobody really heard from him for the first few months of the season. There was just a lot stacking up. Well, the Titans get off to what we all know, a disappointing start to the 2024 season. They're losing football games. The trade deadline is approaching, and the Titans cut bait. They trade Ernest Jones to the Seattle Seahawks in what is a good on-paper trade because they upgraded their draft pick, and they received Jerome Baker, an inside linebacker from the Seahawks, back in the deal. Now the assumption becomes it's going to be Kenneth Murray and Jerome Baker starting for the Titans, but no. We start seeing a lot more Jack Gibbons back in the starting role that he looked poised to take over at the beginning of the year. And to everybody's surprise, Gibbons looks like a breakout star. He is playing the best football of his career, constantly getting shouted out by Denard Wilson and Brian Callahan. Just really noticeable production. And I think a lot of that was a credit to Kenneth Murray as well, shifting his position in a way that really complemented Jack Gibbens. And you started to feel a little bit more of a natural fit between those two linebackers. The Titans kept making excuses for why Jerome Baker wasn't getting involved. Oh, well, we got to get him acclimated in the defense. Then they didn't really have a choice because, unfortunately, Jack Gibbens breaks his ankle, has ankle surgery. He's out for the year. Jerome Baker is forced into action, and one game into watching Jerome Baker play, which was the game against Washington, he is no longer in line to play because of poor play, injuries. He looked awful, quite frankly. I was stunned at how bad Jerome Baker looked in the run game, in a game against the Commanders that they just got gashed by the run up the middle so frequently, which is uncharacteristic for this Titans defense. And now, as we have started to rotate through with Kenneth Murray and Luke Gifford and guys like Otis Reese playing inside linebacker, Otis Reese has an injury of his own. I saw Otis in the locker room with a big old wrapped ankle and a very severe limp on his right ankle. So Kenneth Murray missed last week with a hamstring injury. We got a lot of Gifford Reese. That combo, I think they were surprisingly good and productive, but now Reese is out. Murray is back in. And it is finally time that the Titans are turning to their rookies. James Williams and Cedric Gray, 2 draft picks for the Titans in this past draft. James Williams drafted in the 7th round with the 242nd overall pick. Cedric Gray drafted in the 4th round, the 106th overall pick. Gray is a guy that I had a lot of high expectations and hopes for coming into the season. It just has not worked out. But over the last month, both Williams and Gray have started to cut their teeth a little bit on special teams. And as we know about this Titans coaching staff and most coaching staffs, special teams, such a big contributor to whether or not you get to play on defense. While neither one of them have played a single defensive snap this season, Brian Callahan told the media on Friday afternoon that the plan is for both of them to get a little bit of rotation. My guess would be they'll rotate in with Gifford. Kenneth Murray should be back. He should be starting and playing. And then we'll see a lot of rotating between Gifford, Williams, and Gray, but we're going to get our first look at 2 important Titans rookies at linebacker this week against the Bengals at home. Now, this is important. Why? Because we're entering the audition phase of this Titans regular season. We are hitting the point where we are 3-10. The games are kind of a snooze fest. You know, there's not a ton to look out for in terms of like storylines that actually matter. But these are the actual storylines that we should be paying attention to. Young players getting big opportunities to play good teams and good opposing offenses that are now thrown into the fire a little bit, and we see if they have it. As the Titans try to build this core, as Ran Carthon and Brian Callahan and Chad Brinker begin to assess what they actually have for 2025, games like this are going to be very, very vital. You know, the Titans do have cap space, but they're not as rich and rolling in loose money like they were last year. They tied a lot of it up in the free agent class last offseason. So they have to be wise with how they attribute their draft picks, how they attribute their money. And inside linebacker, from where I'm sitting, is currently a position very high up on my list of things that they should maybe look to address in the free agent market with a veteran. Now, how does that change if some of these guys look very promising over the last month of the year? I'm not sure. We'll take it 1 week at a time, but that is a storyline I'm paying attention to, and all of you should be as well. Thanks for tuning in. That's all I got for you here on Titans at 2 with your update. Titans and Bengals kicking off from Nissan Stadium at noon on Sunday. Austin Stanley and Easton Freeze will have the Titans pregame, halftime, and postgame show while I sit up in the press box and give you all the live coverage from the stadium and the locker room after the fact. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time, tighten up.